Last time out in the British Rally Championship, Fourmaux made it 2 wins from 2 rounds with victory in the Scottish borders, whilst bad luck for a number of front-running crews hampered their challenge of the Frenchman. Keith Cronin came away with another 2nd place, but he hasn't travelled to round 3, giving other contenders a chance to close the gap to the top of the standings. For round 3, the championship remains on the asphalt, this time heading to Belgium for the Ardeca Ypres Rally, an iconic event which has previously been included in the European and World Rally Championships. It provides the biggest test of the BRC season, giving the BRC competitors the chance to go head-to-head against some of the best drivers in Europe. The historic Ypres town centre plays host to the service park, as well as a number of the activities such as the autograph session and regroups throughout the event, bringing the sport to the people in one of the most atmospheric settings of the year. The longest event on the calendar, 137 competitive miles over 18 special stages, lie ahead of the crews, and we caught up with some of them to find out how they were feeling before they took to the Flanders roads.
It's a really fast rally, I would say, a bit like the Jim Clark rally, but the grip is a little bit higher, but with a lot more pollution on the road. There is much more cuts, which bring a lot of dirt again for the guys behind. It's quite dangerous rally, I would say, because the roads are really narrow, fast, slippery, and the margins for error are really low because there is ditch nearly in every corner. So if you have a bit wide and you are in the ditch, and then it catches you. So.
Look, I'm just really excited to be here. Before I had no expectations and we came and won, so let's see what we can do throughout the weekend. I'm just looking to build the speed, build the confidence with the car. It's obviously new to me, so that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, no, I think ultimately it's going to take quite a while for me to get on the pace here, but the guys up front are obviously very experienced. I think James has even been here 3 times, so being the newbie of the bunch, it's going to probably be a bit of a baptism of fire, but we'll give it our best go.
It's going to be a tricky weekend, a lot of new experiences and challenges ahead of us, so a lot of big cuts and the road surface is totally different to what I'm used to, so it's going to be a big learning weekend, but that's why we're here, so now we're here to push on and hopefully we can get a good result this weekend.
Unique to this round of the championship is the qualifying stage, allowing the crews to vie for their road position at the start of the event, and as was maybe expected, a battle was already emerging between current championship leader Fourmaux and new addition to the series and former Citroën factory driver Stéphane Lefebvre. So with qualifying complete and media duties done, it just left one more sleep before the crews could get out on the first of the stages, and that's where we are heading now. The first day of action would consist of 8 stages for the crews, including the longest of the day, Kemmelberg. And emerging from the end of day 1 in the lead of the championship crews and indeed the event overall would be Fourmaux and Alexandre Correa. They were happy with their pace overall, but had admitted to being at around 105% at times to try and maintain the pace they were on. They hadn't been in the lead for the whole day though. That position would have been held by the newcomers Stéphane Lefebvre and Loris Pasquade, and a close battle saw them never more than 4 seconds apart up to stage 7, where the pair crashed out of the event in dramatic fashion. Davy Veneste and Christianiheim were another crew joining the championship this weekend, and they were going well up to 2nd place at the end of the day. A small overshoot in stage 3 would lose them a little time, but the afternoon would go to plan, gaining some time over the first pass, but probably not as much as they wanted. James Williams and Dyer Roberts were having a few niggles, but it was cold tyres that would cause them to go wide into a ditch, and that in turn would cause a vibration on the car for the remainder. To top it all off, a previous knock to the car had put the heaters on, and there was no way of turning them off. Not ideal in 30+ degrees. 3rd place for the pair though was a good start. This was the first visit to Ypres for Gary Pearson and Daniel Barrett, and as such they didn't have unrealistic expectations. They were setting their own pace, getting used to the notes and the big cuts that are a feature of the event. They managed to end the opening day with 4th in the BRC standings. Johnny Mulholland and Owen Tracy weren't trying to do anything crazy with their pace, but that didn't stop them from catching cars on the stages and getting held up a little in their Fiesta Rally 3. There were, however, worrying puffs of white smoke coming from the car towards the end of the day, and that was going to need looking at overnight. The BRC Junior battle was less clear-cut and provided some drama to the results on the opening day. Previous round winners Kyle White and Sean Topping would suffer brake failure and subsequently put the car into a ditch, which resulted in the grass underneath catching fire. After the pair extinguished to flames, they were forced out but would return to Super Rally on day 2. It would be a similar fate for Kyle McBride and Liam McIntyre. They enjoy a solid start and adapt to the big cuts here in Ypres, but in the second loop of the day they put the Fiesta off the road, causing enough damage to end their day, being forced to Super Rally on day 2 as well. All of that drama meant that it would be the junior BRC lead for Casey J. Coleman and Lorcan Moore. After a troublesome pre-event test, the newly formed pairing bedded into the tricky Belgium tests impressively well. They do, however, hit a rock and back off a little to check that nothing was damaged, but they end the opening day with the BRC junior lead. And in the national category, it would be a good day for Mike East and Emily Easton-Page. They were happy with how the new partnership was going and having fun in the R2 Fiesta, enjoying the spectacular atmosphere Ypres has to offer. So with the opening day of the event complete, here's a reminder of how those overall results are looking. On to day 2, and there would be no change at the top for Adrian Fourmaux and Alexander Correa. They were fully in control of the lead and could push where they knew they could, but play it safe on the slippery sections, reaching the end of stage 12 with a comfortable advantage. Davy Vedeste and Chris Dialliine didn't have a good feeling in the first stage of the day, but they soon got back into the groove as the morning went on. Happier with the times and still in second place for now, and with a good stronghold of that place too. Gary Pearson and Daniel Barrett would have a bit of vibration for the last few kilometres of one of the stages, so backed off for the remainder of the test. But that was the only niggle of the morning. Their plan to drive their own rally was working, and they end the morning with a place gained in third.
Flat left, 40, 5 left. Then 3 right.
The reason for that swap was courtesy of problems for James Williams and Di Roberts. Losing the power steering in the Fiesta, they sadly slid into a ditch, thankfully with only cosmetic damage from the impact, but they would have that power steering issue to try and resolve in service, and significant time was lost. Sadly for Johnny Mulholland and Owen Tracy, the misfire was getting worse. They would get the car back to service in 5th place, but further inspection showed they were down a cylinder and wouldn't make it out in the afternoon. Game over for the pair. Things were still going to plan for Casey J. Coleman and Lorcan Moore. They continued to lead the way in the junior category, and as long as they didn't have any problems themselves, they should end the day and rally there too. But as we've seen, there is little margin for error on these stages. Feeling under the weather, Mike East and co-driver Emily Easton-Page were not having the best of mornings. They got caught out on some gravel on one of the corners and put the car into one of the Belgian ditches. A slow enough accident, but it would be a big impact. They do end the morning still in with a shout of a national rally title maximum score, but would be super rallying for the rest of the day. And speaking of Super Rally, Kyle McBride and Liam McIntyre were back out on day 2 with the car repaired and putting in some good times. They weren't chasing an overall result now, but with the championship leaders also super rallying, it would be about getting to the finish and getting some points. Those championship leaders were back out as well, Kyle White and Sean Topping, seeing what they could do to get past at least McBride and salvage some extra points from this weekend. So with stage 12 complete here in Ypres, the results are looking like this. On to the final loop of stages, and despite the issues, it would be a good finish and a good use of the joker points for Mike East and Emily Easton Page as they gain the National Rally title top score.
Through the flying finish. Good man.
Oh, I love that.
Well done.
Kyle White and Sean Topping couldn't get past their closest rivals and would have to settle for third in the BRC Junior category this weekend. They do still lead the championship after this round, but with their lead rescinded. It certainly wasn't the weekend that Kyle McBride and Liam McIntyre would have wanted, but as far as damage limitation goes, it was certainly a good finish. They take some good points and maintain second place in the standings after this round. Casey J. Coleman and Lorcan Moore stay out of trouble in the final stages to make sure they take their maiden BRC Junior win in fine style. What a rally to achieve that on. It also pushes them a little closer to the fight at the top of the championship after 3 rounds and will give them some good confidence heading to Ulster, the next round of 2023. James Williams and Di Roberts had a very busy service and couldn't rectify all the issues. With the power steering an obvious priority, they would sadly gain penalties for being late out of service and would also be running down the order a little. Thankfully, the afternoon would go better than the morning and the pair would end the event with 4th place in the BRC. There would be no such issues for Gary Pearson and Daniel Barrett, a relief after the non-finish on the previous round. They kept themselves out of trouble, out of the ditches and at a pace they were comfortable with, managing to get themselves onto the podium as a result. A great end to the weekend and now within a single point of Williams in the championship standings. A slow puncture in stage 16 would lose Davy Veneste and Chris Dialiine a small amount of time, but they had it to spare after building up a good advantage in their second place. Apart from that, they had no issues and would reach the end of the event with the second step on the podium. And that just leaves one crew. Even a small ECU issue in the final stages of the rally didn't derail Adrian Fourmaux and Alexander Corrier's hopes for an Ypres Rally victory, a first for the British Rally Championship in 4 years of trying. That win gives the French pairing a hat-trick of maximum scores and a comfortable lead in the points as well. So that's the 3rd round of the championship complete, and before we chat to some of the crews at the finish, here is a look at those final overall times from the Ardeca Ypres Rally.
Adrian, congratulations here at a very long, a very tough Ypres Rally, and that's an Ypres win for you. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's really, really good for me. We know everybody knows that it's a really prestigious rally, Ypres. So we are really pleased to finish on the 1st position. It's like a revenge compared to last year. So honestly, we can only be happy. The car has been perfect. I can only say thanks to the team. Also, I have to say that the tyres were really working well. So thanks also to be ready.
And the British Rally Championship has been here 4 times, and you are the first person to give the British Rally Championship a victory here in Ypres. That must be a good feeling too.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's an honour for me. Yeah, definitely.
Casey J, congratulations. We're at the end of 2 very long days here in Ypres, and that's your maiden junior BRC win. How does that feel for you?
Yeah, really good. Really happy to be here. What a difficult couple of days, couple of months. So no, this result is really nice to get after obviously all the things going on. So yeah, no, really happy to get it, and especially here of all places. So yeah, really happy. Yeah.
The pace out in the 2-wheel drive category and the juniors is pretty hot as well. It was a shame for the other 2 guys who couldn't quite challenge you, but you still had to keep your head over the last couple of days, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%. It was always going to be a finisher's rally, and we kind of stuck to our plan, and yeah, it worked out. Here we are. So of course the pace is massive with the Belgian guys here, so it's hard to keep into them. But look, we improved our pace all weekend, and here we are now.
Next up, the crews head to Northern Ireland for the formidable Ulster Rally for 2 days of action in the lanes around Newry. Could it be the first win of the season for Keith Cronin when he returns for round 4? Join us there to find out.